Hi everyone, just want to do a quick review of the Firman 3550. I bought this just prior to a hurricane that we were getting, and just want to talk about some of the things that I found about it. Had no problem putting it together. It was only a matter of putting the wheels on and putting the little foot peg on the front of it, and aside from that, and adding the oil to it. The one thing that I did notice is when you follow the instructions, as you can see the instructions in here, sorry for it's so bright out, but when you follow the instructions in here, it just basically tells you to add the oil, add the gasoline, check it, turn on the switch, turn on the fuel, turn on the choke, put the choke on, and pull the cord, and then turn the choke over to the run position once it's up and running. However, when I first pulled the cord, it didn't start. So I continued to pull the cord with the choke in the on position, and it wasn't running. So I ended up going back to the instructions and reading all the fine material in there, and noticed in the instructions it said to only pull the cord once and then move the choke over to the run position, which I thought was unusual, considering most small engines, once the motor's running is when you put the choke back in the run position. Anyway, I did put it back to the run position and start it, and it started right away. So it ran very good, had no issues to it. I did the initial run of 8 hours or so that it asks to run, and then do a quick oil change, and or actually it's 5 hours to ask to run, and then I did a quick oil change, and then the next one is supposed to be after 100 hours. We did have a hurricane, and I did have this running. I set it up outside. I just had the regular 2 plugs here, and as you can see, there is these 2 here for 20 amps. You can see the number down below, and then there's the RV 30 amp 120 volt one, and then there's the regular 120 amp 120 volt 30 amp plug. When I was running it, I was just using the 2 extension cords, and I had it on my deck, and I was running it through the kitchen window, and I had it powering my fridge, TV, some lights, our cable, a few other things. I had some more lights upstairs, and the freezer, and we had absolutely no issues whatsoever with it. And we ended up having it to go for it was almost a complete 2 days, or a 24-hour cycle, I guess. And it ran for 16 hours on 5 gallons, and I know I was only running at maybe 50%, not even that. And anyway, I thought it ran pretty good. I did have to top it off to go again, and the next day I was actually just going to top it off, and it was down to about 1/4 of a tank, and the power came back on, fortunately. It did run very good, had no issues with it. There is a panel here that you can flicker through. The only thing I don't like about this, it doesn't show the wattage used. It shows volts, hertz, and the hours, which is good. And it does have an auto shut off for if the oil is low or if it's not level. But it doesn't tell you how many watts you're actually using, which is something I would like to know. I did buy this plug here. This is a split 30 amp so it goes into 215s that I can put in here now, so I can use the full 30 amps if it comes to that point that I need it again, as opposed just to the 215s or the 220s. And but I am looking at setting up so that it runs off the main circuit, and so that it's set up outside with a proper plug and stuff like that. In the meantime, I went and made this little canopy here, so that I can put it over the over the generator, so when it's out in the elements, it's not it's protected, because it's really not supposed to be out in the open with rain and stuff pouring on it. So I just bought a sheet of plywood, or of chipboard here, and some 2x2s, and kind of made a frame. I had a piece of rubber, a kind of hard plastic rubber from an old mat for barbecue deck mat that I had, and put that so that it creates the V. It's got 2 hinges in it, and then I just put these cords on the side so it only opens so far. It does protect it because it's wider, and also helps dampen the sound from a bit. It does it drops it by about 6 or 7 decibels. I did it with the app, walked all around, see how much it drops, and it does drop it quite a bit. So anyway, that's as far as I was concerned. The Firman, it seemed to be pretty good. I had no issues with it. I thought it ran really good. It's a 5-gallon tank on the top. I could have easily had gone at least 16 hours with the 5 gallons. I stopped it after 14 gallons, or sorry, after 14 hours, and retopped it up. But it was still had almost a quarter of a tank. It could have gone at least a couple more hours. So it did its job, and we ran what we needed to run. And yeah, aside from hooking it up with a panel now in the house, it did its job with extension cords. A little bit, you know, a few extension cords to the floor, but at least we weren't without power for long periods of time. Anyway, that's my my review of the Firman 3550, and my views on it. And if you like that, give me the thumbs up. Thank you.